Assalamu alaikum. Greetings of the day. Hope you all will be fine and doing well in life. Today I'm going to facilitate you on the Rayleigh-Taylor instability, which is another topic from the coursework of Plasma Physics 2. In fact, RT instability is named after the two scientists Rayleigh and Taylor and is another type of the gravitational instability like you have done last time with me, the genes instability. Well, in plasmas, the RT instability may exist for both astrophysical and laboratory situations. As an example, in case of the astrophysical environment, the dense accretion disk of the neutron star is supported by the rare plasma against the gravity, leading to RT instability. And you can also have the applications of the RT in the X-ray bursts and solar wind, etc. On the other hand, if you visit the laboratory situation, then the two fluids at the top of the tokamak may lead to the RT instability. Another important application of RT instability is inertial confinement fusion, where the lighter plasma blow off the heavy metal shell and the dense or the heavy fluid tries to interchange its position with the lighter plasma, thus triggering an instability on the interface known as the which may grow exponentially, known as the RT instability. Well, in daily life, you can imagine the situation for the RT instability as a thin layer of the oil settled on the water may serve as a light fluid supporting the heavy one. All right, girls, this was the application and something introduction about the RT instability. Let's come back to our mathematical model to formulate the growth rate of this RT instability. We suppose here an electron ion plasma and suppose there are no thermal motions. Thermal motions are assumed to be absent here. KTI equals to 0. We suppose the electric field, the electron ion plasma is under the influence of electric field, the magnetic field, and the gravity as well. And we suppose that the uniform magnetic field is applied along z-axis. Well, if I plot the geometry, we suppose this is x-axis, y and z, and the axis opposite to the x-axis is obviously minus x-axis. All right, here we also assume that the plasma is inhomogeneous, and inhomogeneity means when plasma is not uniform, it's going to be vary with something, which in our case here we assume that the density of the plasma particles change as you move up along the interface. Here is the electric field, as I said that this is along y-axis, and we suppose that the plasma lies in the xz plane. Here we suppose the vacuum in the magnetic field along z-axis, and g, the gravity, is along downward in the x direction, positive x direction, and this will be the interface where the perturbation or the oscillations may grow to lead to the RT instability. Well, I believe all of you must know from a previous lecture that whenever the electric and the magnetic fields are perpendicular to each other, which is the case as you can see here, electric field is along y-axis, magnetic field is along z-axis. So in this situation we do have the drift velocity known as the E cross B drift over b square, and if I multiply this, I can introduce the force here by multiplying and dividing this expression by bq, or this can be written as F cross B over q b square. Well, Since this is the gravitational problem, so the proton motion or the ion motion will be more important due to their large mass as compared to the electron one. So I can write it as V di, the ion drift velocity, and F is the gravitational force here. And if I write the magnitude of this velocity, I can write it as G mg, sorry, I can write it as mgb divided by qb square. And obviously this drift velocity will be in the negative y-axis, because we know that the gravity is in the x direction and the magnetic field is along the z direction, and x is perpendicular to x and z is obviously y. And you know that the drift is always here in this case will be the negative y direction. Also I can write it as v di is equal to, I can cut this out, minus g over omega ci, and in the y direction. Well, you can see that this is yeah, I believe you know that omega cyclotron frequency is defined as q b over, if this is the ion cyclotron frequency, then the mass corresponds to the ion of the protons. So if the constant magnetic field, applied magnetic field is uniform or the constant, then this omega ci, everything is constant here, the charge and the mass of the proton. So we can say that this drift of the ion will be a constant velocity. So I'm going to write it as v naught is equal to minus g over omega ci y. Let me name this equation because we will be using it later. Suppose this is equation number 1. Well, an equal drift will be existing for the electron as well, but in case of the electron, the down will be the cyclotron frequency of the electron, and we know that the cyclotron frequency of the electron is more than the ion. So we can say that the drift velocity of the electron will be less than the drift velocity of the ions. So we can ignore the drift velocity of electron in comparison with the ion one. So all right girls, let's write down the momentum equation now for the ions obviously, and I'm going to write it directly in the linearized form. Plus v naught dot del vi1 is equal to li naught q e1 plus vi1 cross p naught. Well, I think so. This is the new term for you. This is the convective derivative or the nonlinear term. Whenever we want to incorporate some nonlinearity or inhomogeneity in the system, then we take into account this nonlinear term or the convective derivative term. Here we not, I just suppose that this is the drift velocity which I have shown you in the equation number 1. Or if I apply the Fourier transformation and then cancelling this on both sides, simply I can write and obviously this is a vector equation, everything is a vector here. So I can write the velocity of the ion dynamic as q iota over m I, and here will be E1 plus Vi1 cross B naught divided by omega minus kV naught. Yes, in the geometry, keep in mind that del or the propagation vector is also in the y direction, and the drift velocity which I just have shown in equation number 2 is also in the y direction. So I can write this combination as kV naught. well, this is a vector equation. We can write the x and the y component of the ion dynamic. The x component can be written as Vix is equal to iota q over mi, and you know that in the x direction electric field was absent, so I can write it here as 0 plus viy b naught divided by omega minus kv naught, or further I can write it as iota omega ci viy divided by omega minus kv naught, because this q b naught over mi gives you omega ci. So finally, this is the x component of the ion dynamic expressed in terms of the y component here. Suppose this is 2. We'll make use of this later. And similarly, I can write the y component of the ion dynamic as Viy is equal to iota q over mi. In this time electric field will exist because this acts along the y-axis. I can write it as Ey plus, and no, here should be my negative sign, Vix b naught divided by omega minus kv naught. Well, I can write this expression now. Viy is equal to iota q over mi ey minus iota q minus iota q b naught Vix divided by mi omega minus kv naught. Well, if I make use of the equation number 2 to have the final y component of the ion dynamic, the velocity of the protons, so I can write it as q b naught. I'm going to multiply and divide this first term on the right hand side with b naught. It will make no difference. Minus, then minus makes it plus omega ci square over omega minus kv naught, and here will be viy now. I just have substituted equation number 2 in the place of vix. So I can write it as combining the y component of the proton dynamic on the left and right hand sides. I can write it as, oh, here will be square 1 minus omega ci square omega minus kv naught whole square is equal to iota omega ci ey over b naught. Well, I can write it as further iota omega ci, and here will be omega minus kv naught whole square minus omega ci square divided by omega minus kv naught whole square, and obviously here will be inverse sign. Well, we are considering the proton or the ions or the low frequency wave, so making use of the low frequency condition, which is omega minus kv naught should be less than omega ci. So By making use of this is the assumption, I can simply write it as VIY is equal to iota omega Ci, and here will be omega minus oh will be omega minus kV naught whole square. In the y component, I should also write as here should be omega minus kV naught, and similarly here should be into, or I can write it here, omega minus kV naught, and here will be Ey over B naught. Here everywhere will be omega minus kV naught, like this. So I can write it as omega minus kV naught square, and down will be minus omega Ci square, and here will be omega minus kV naught Ey over B naught. So I can cancel out some the terms here like this one. So this will be equal to minus iota over omega Ci, and here will be left with this omega minus kV naught Ey over B naught. So this is the final expression for the y component of the proton. Let's name it. Suppose this is your equation number 3, I think so. Similarly, using this y component in the x component of the ion dynamic, we can finally have, which was, let me have a look, iota omega Ci over omega minus kV naught VIY, or I can write it as iota omega Ci omega minus kV naught. Instead of VIY, I am going to write this its value, that is minus iota over omega Ci, and here will be omega minus kV naught Ey over B naught. So I can cancel out, and finally we will be left with as Vix is equal to Ey over B naught. Ey over B naught. So these are the final x and y components of the proton dynamic. Well, similarly, we can calculate the x and y components of the electron motion. I'm going to write it directly. All right, girls, you can write down the momentum equation again for the electron, and can do all these mathematics, and very easily you can have the y component of the electron momentum as omega Ce, and here will be omega minus kV naught. Keep in mind that this V naught is the drift velocity of the ions or the protons. Well, you know that omega Ce is greater than omega Ci. So in comparison, we can say that the y component, this term of the y component of the electron dynamic will be the very small as compared to the y component of the ions. So we can say that V Ey is equal to 0. Similarly, the x component of the electron momentum, we will be having exactly the same as the X component of the proton dynamic. Well, so finally we have calculated the X and Y components of the plasma species, that are the electron and the protons.